So how did the NHS get started? Because in America, I don't know. Our healthcare system is interesting because it's mixed, right? There is a lot of government intervention within the healthcare system, which does cause some like artificial price increases. And in general, healthcare is kind of a stressful thing for Americans, although we have a lot more freedom and choice and shorter waiting times and really incredible doctors want to come here and innovation happens here. But there is this deep desire to give all of that away, throw that out the window so we can get free healthcare. What was the motivating factor in the UK?
I think it was after the war. For one, England, or Britain in general, has sort of had a reshaping since the Second World War because of the empire. We don't know how to address the empire, for example. Like we don't talk about it at all in our history lessons.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like something we don't talk about.
That's so interesting.
And I think the NHS was sort of a replacement of trying to find Britain's identity. I think that was one of the leading things. And also this general idea of community, I think wanting to get together through that. And like Mises talks about how socialism was rising in the UK. It wasn't just the NHS. Like there was strong housing targets, which were quite big percentage of it was public housing, which in history lessons we're taught is a good thing. That's a big part of it was social housing.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, nah.
Probably not.
Probably not. But there was just this general attitude towards socialism, I think, after the war. And which is weird because I think most people I think there was a poll by Dr. Christian Niemitz, who works for the Institute of Economic Affairs. He does a lot of work on the NHS, or why the NHS sucks. And one of the things in his book, Universal Healthcare Without the NHS, he states how British people didn't even really want the NHS. It wasn't even that popular to begin with. And it's interesting because it was also the Conservative Party who put forward one of the first proposals for the NHS, but it was under Attlee's government.
Why do you think they were pursuing NHS funding?
I think, the Conservative Party, after the war and probably during the war as well, the thing is with the Conservative Party, as shown by today, they don't really have any principles or ideology. I really hate the term pragmatism because it just means where are you going in that? I think ideology is a good thing, but the Conservative Party lack that. There's this thing called, and I'm not sure if the US is similar, but there's this post-war consensus where from the after the Second World War until Thatcher, there was Keynesian economics being implemented and high social spending. Trade unions were a massive issue. And things got so bad in the UK, there was this, we call it the winter of discontent, where the bin men were on protest. I don't know what you guys call it. Bin men. Garbage collectors, maybe. I don't know.
Bin man. Oh, that's so cute.
But
bin men.
Everyone was on protest. The miners were on strike. Ted Heath, I think it was a 3-day working week because they couldn't afford it. That's the impact of socialism.
A 3-day working week?
Yeah, I think it was a 3-day working week. And that led to so many issues. And they think of Thatcher as this bad guy, to be fair. I think Thatcher was sort of overrated. She didn't do... The left make her sound way cooler than she actually was.
Right, by it trying to make her a villain. Yeah. They make her sound cooler.
She wanted to privatise everything. She wanted to privatise the NHS. I wish. Yeah.
Incredible.
But she did make some big changes, and it was needed. She didn't do it for no reason. She did it because the economy was really plummeting, and it wasn't making anyone happy. People have this idea of the economy being separate. You just care about the economy, you don't care about people. But the economy is people. It's how it affects everyone's lives. There is no difference. It's not just benefiting the rich. It's how these policies impact other people. And Thatcher, the North, for example, I'm Northern. The North had a big mining industry, and Thatcher's notorious for closing all the mines. For one, she didn't close more mines than most of the other prime ministers. I think Attlee closed more mines than her. But
What do you mean by closing the mines?
so I think the mines were nationalised.
Okay.
And because it wasn't a very profitable...
Yeah.
Also, it's less like, who wants to work in the mines as well? Like, it's not a very good
It's
condition.
a horrible job.
Yeah.
It's terrible working conditions, very dangerous.
Bad for the environment. I'm sure Extinction Rebellion would be protesting if it was around today.
There's going to be orange paint all over the mines.
But back to the NHS. I'm not sure. I think there was just a general push towards socialism in general. I think that was the main issue.